you know how I feel. Ooh. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. You know how I feel. You know how I feel.
for saying hello to everybody. Let's give you a look at me. Here I am. Okay, cool. All right, sweet. Hey, everybody. Actually, oh, wow. I don't have a camera for you right now, babe. Tara is here. You can't really see her right now. I just realized that the camera I normally use on her is on me right now. So I think we'll just have to you'll just have to deal with just seeing me. But she's here. Rex is here, and we're excited to be here. And I forgot my water. Anyway, welcome tonight, guys. I want to just sort of say off the bat that I definitely did not mean to freak anybody out with my last second Sunday flow jam. I wanted to kind of do one where I didn't really talk to or do a lot of, I didn't mean to leave anybody out, but I was trying to keep like the expectations really low and trying to make sure that people knew that it wasn't like Hoop Church or something like that, that it was just going to be chill Sunday flow. We had a good time doing it, and I learned a little bit. Like, it definitely requires me getting up a little bit earlier than I like to on a Saturday to get started. The Sunday, so yep, thank you, Tara. But it was fun, and it really did kind of set, I think, all three of us on a pretty good path for that day. So, excuse me. So, anyway, I will let you guys know the next time I do one. I definitely will not be doing one next Sunday, and probably, so little behind the scenes information here. I am going to go back to school for the fall, and I found out today that starts in about 2.5 weeks from now. So I've got some time to do things like that, but I've also got I want to sort of squeeze in the rest of my summer into those 2 weekends, and there's different commitments and things. So I will let you know. I'll try to give you more than 12 hours notice next time. But if you felt left out, you weren't meant to be. And no one told me that they felt left out. A few of you wrote me and just said you would have supported if you had known about it. So, but nobody said they felt left out. Anyway, okay. So tonight is actually based on the practice that I had today. Where I was doing some warrior technique. I was looking over the classes that I've offered, and I try to, as I've told you guys, I try to have a rotation. I just realized, like, even though we've been getting kind of mythy, we haven't really had a straight up myth and flow class in a while. So I thought that we would offer one of those, and those, y'all wouldn't know this, but those my Dan inspire different types of classes. And so tonight the character is Ashua, the teacher. And so she is a character, is a my Dan that really shows up for me personally more in a functional way. Like, her character is more functional for me, in that I see, like, if she's in my consciousness, like, I'm trying to either become a better teacher or become a better student. But her just sort of character sort of brings out the best in you. So that's sort of and that's the way she tried to teach, and that's just the feeling that I have with her. But her classes are also more technical in a way. Like, they're more repetitive, and they might feel more martial arty. I have never taken martial arts, and I don't claim to have taken martial arts. People have thought that I did, but I don't. So there's no appropriation here at all. But I do think that just stylistically, like, if you look at like what makes martial arts so dazzling to watch, is just the control, the precision, and just the awareness through the body. And I really like, sort of Hollywood, or, the sort of old school, not Hollywood, obviously, but that sort of old, they used to call it Kung Fu theater. I don't know if they'd call it that anymore, but it was just this incredible form of, like, for a dude, like, dance with violence. But it was so over the top that you didn't really take it seriously. But I think as a little boy watching it, my body was picking up on why I like it. And so tonight we're going to work on, or use the story and Ashua to talk about certain concepts like that. And then the one thing I want to say is that my mother is a Quaker. She definitely put into us the idea of nonviolence. I don't like the use of the word war. I don't like a war on anything, even the things that I don't like. And so I can understand how the term warrior could, for some people, kind of trigger a weird response. But the fact of our existence here on this earth is that we have had to push through, regardless of our station in life, that we've had to push through. And there's a reason that we've held on to this warrior archetype, and it's not to be that archetype and carry, a weapon, but it's just to remember why that archetype is there, that there are these moments that require us to dig down. There are these moments that are going to require us to be strong. And while we're strong, we can prepare for those moments in training and in moving and in doing the things that help us be prepared for these unexpected things. And so when we talk about warrior hooping, we're really talking about like strength hooping, like feeling good, like in your body type hooping. But we're not talking about super athletic even, or super aerobic. It can be whatever you want it to be. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I think I've got everything figured out for you tonight, guys. I don't think we'll have any tech problems, but this is usually the point where you tell me that my mic's not on. Okay. Sorry, as I was talking, I changed my mind on how I want to start. That's not what I want. Excuse me. All right. There we go. Okay. Breath in. Audible breath in. Ashua the teacher. In the really big open space of your imagination, in that layer of reality that's just as real as the other layers, Ashua, the teacher, the Maidan, is with you. In your imagination, the most comforting presence that you could ever learn from is with you. Audible breath in. And you feel safe under the supportive wing of this very loving teacher. Audible breath in. Ashua the teacher. She's here to help you learn, or she's here to help you teach. Why is she here tonight? Audible breath in. Ashua the teacher taught Julia the quiet activation through breath. She taught young Julia to focus on her breath and to close the distance between her thoughts and her breath. Audible breath in. I'm going to move into a little bit of guided sway before we get into, we pick up our hoops. We're just going to stay here for just a second. There's a way that you can warm up that only you know, but that can help activate your whole body. To help you pour yourself more completely into each half of your body. Ashua taught Julia that one of those ways was to breathe and to move through her full range of motion. Audible breath in. The more you move each half of the body, the more you move each hand, the more often they know what each other are doing, the more complex and the more varied your movement can be. And movement exploration can help keep you off that plateau, to keep you out of that dreaded valley between mountaintops, where you run out of flow love or movement love or self-love. All right. Okay. Sweet. You can grab some water and then you can grab your hoop. hop on over to my SoundCloud here. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. All right. Hey, Nayeli. Sway, that's right. Oh, hey, Lindsay. Hello, everybody. Keely, if I haven't, Amber, if I haven't said anything yet to you. So let's talk a little bit about Warrior Flow, and let's make sure we're on the same page with it. Sometimes it helps to jump to the end of a story. And in the case of Ashua and teaching you Warrior Flow and how you maybe can, find a connection with it when you want to feel strong or you are feeling strong or whatever, is to go all the way to the end of Ashua's life, and she is fighting off all of these bad guys, like 10,000 bad guys, and they're all circled around her. And she's fighting them off by actually never really engaging them, but just moving so fast and turning so fast, and just basically being so intimidating that none of the bad guys will step to her. So this is where warrior style comes from. The whole idea in the Myth and Flow classes is that it's a tribute to not just her nature, but like the part of her nature that is in our nature, that spirit of never giving up. So first we're going to start with some just basic warrior type styles and movement. And so the first thing that we're going to start with is two-point samurai. Now, when I teach these classes, of course I'm holding you loosely. Ashua classes can be a little bit more techy than usual, but what I'm doing is I'm holding the hoop in two-point samurai, which means I've got 2 points of grip on it. And then with that restriction, I'm playing with the hoop. Bring this music up a little bit. Now the orientation of my hands, of course, all of this is up to you. It's your class, but this is thumbs together. This would be thumbs apart. And so whatever orientation that takes, or if it moves between them, that's all part of the same fun. Of course, if I want to ghost to the other hand, if I want to grip with the other, so the old school. But these are all two-point samurai type movements. Chair's doing isolations. to keep my hands in a pretty, traditional samurai. Okay, cool. So now what I can do, I'm gonna drop the music just for a second. But now we can switch for the last 3 minutes of this to an open samurai. Open samurai is when it's coming between my fingers there. It could be any of the fingers. All it means is that you're breaking samurai. The opening of samurai means that you can now twirl it. So I can create hinges sometimes by I can cigar it, whatever. I can, there we go. I can, use my fingers as hinges. If my fingers are uncomfortable or the hoop's too big, I can create like a sort of hinge there on my thumb. I'm doing this. Okay, so I'll show you some of that. Not that there's not a wrong way to do this, but if you ever feel looking for inspiration, you can imagine you're trying to check all the fronts, all the sides of you over time in your spin. So like if I'm rocking this direction, at some point I need to turn and move for it to be warrior. Because if I'm just doing rooted hooping, that's not necessarily, it's badass, that's not warrior though. And when I was discussing it earlier that you can make this as athletic as you want, like if I'm really tired today, I can just sort of keep my steps super chill. I can pretend that I'm not moving slow, but they just slowed the whole movie down. So the bad guys are moving slow too. Okay. All right. Okay. So actually, I think we're going to slow it down just a little bit, or not slow it up, but we're not going to slow it down. But we're going to we're going to soften it a bit here. So. So the Maidan live in this deep forest, and they, have a lot of birds, and they learn how to sort of train the birds, and they play with the birds. And so the birds, totally loving this whole practice, would hop from one Maidan hand to the other hand, or sometimes they would hold a stick together, and they would sort of play with that stick that way. And the technique that they would refer to was a soft hand. That birds liked a soft hand. And when you're trying to sort of grace up your rolls and your tosses and all of that, you want a soft hand. Not that there's not strength in it, right? It's grace. In warrior, because we're trying to use the whole body, I'm going to switch to samurai, but because we're trying to use the whole body, we can push it further by activating the off hand. And then when I'm moving or rolling the hoop, I'm activating the offhand there as well. And if I want to bring some pause into my motion, now this can be a really awkward exercise or awkward thing to work on. if you haven't tried this before, but what you're trying to do is recruit your dominant and your non-dominant hand, your big sister, little sister hand in HoopPath into the movement so that they both feel like they should speak. That both can defer to the other one. So a direct way I could do this is if my offhand is my left hand, not offhand, excuse me, if my non-dominant, my little sister is my left hand, I can just let her take the lead, let him, whatever they, take the lead. And then I'll be activating my right hand. Of course, my activation and your activation should look totally different. Pull the music up. Investment. It's an investment for stronger days, and it's an investment for when you're having weaker days. Like your shoulders, like you can keep, instead of like your two birds being out here on the hands where it's obvious, they could be in the shoulders. You're still doing everything the same, but your awareness is on what the shoulders are doing. And just inevitably, once you put the awareness there, instead of your hands, different things are going to happen. And that's all a movement that is just untapped in you just by putting awareness on something else. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we're gonna. I think I played that song. I think that might have been a repeat. If it was, I love that song, so I'm okay with it. But so again, since we're in this sort of spirit with Ashua of like whole body recruitment, one of the ways that can be when you're doing samurai hops, it can be the hardest to remember your whole body, but once you remember your whole body, everything gets a lot easier, okay? So like if I am trying to even just do a hop just like this, like something pretty easy. And of course I can make this a little bit harder on myself, right? I can try to really just sort of leave the hoop out here, drop the hoop there, right? If I wanted to have like hand speed night, or something like that, I'll show you a quick demo. Like we've done this before, but this is me hopping. Let's see, all right, maybe this is the way. Okay, so this is me hopping, and I'm more or less, my shoulders are staying in the same line, right? And that's kind of like keep something away from your dog level. But then there's more full turning of the shoulders. And either I'm driving my hand through the hoop, which you don't have to do. It's fun for me sometimes, and sometimes I do it. Or even if I'm just catching the hoop out here, I'm not really driving my hand through it. That changing, taking one shoulder, pushing it back, boom. And what it is teaching your body more than anything, and then we'll press play on this song, is it's teaching you how to have a quick hand when you need one, right? So like if I really need a quick hand, if I start to think like, okay, I'm gonna send my shoulder first, like that point of awareness, I'm gonna send my shoulder first when I go to grip it, So instead of thinking about my hand going and getting it in my shoulder, it's actually sending the hand, boom. So if I'm here, right? Okay, we're going to do these to music and make it fun. I know that's super techy. But the reason that I wanted to show you these hops is not to torture you with them, but because they're really fun and they're very warrior. Because you can start to use these hops to punctuate. And so any moment that you want, you can stop the hoop, hop to the other side.
With her, then when she with the lip, carve it to her center, that's a centrifugal in a flip. Catalyze the universe and give you just a little bit. Keep all of the secrets in the silk around her brittle rib, riddled with anxious stories of the inner bridge. It might get us where we're going if we catch the symbolage. It might take a little bit, so she asks the questions. Where you trying to go? Right? What's the footprint you've been spinning in? What's the footprint you've been spinning and spinning and spinning in? Is this a game you think you winning it, winning it, winning it? Have you been learning, taking, or have you been giving it? And what is the footprint you've been standing in? Do you surrender, render? Can you remember, remember? Do you surrender, render? Can you remember? Do you surrender, render? The flow with her, then when she with the lip, carve it to her center, that's a centrifugal in a flip. Catalyze the universe and give you just a little bit. Keep all of the secrets in the silk around her frontal rib, riddled with anxious stories of the inner bridge. It might get us where we're going if we catch the symbolage. It might take a little bit, so she asks the questions. Where you trying to go and what's the footprint you've been spinning in?
Sweet. Okay, so once again, thank you guys for joining me. This is a super condensed playlist with just a few songs on it. Oh, we're doing great on time. I'm not used to being this on time. So I want to go back a little bit more to that soft hand idea, because you've just sort of warmed up your hands. So if you're about to break anything at home in your house, you can catch it and stop it and chill. But now what we're going to do, nice, good. That's nice. Yeah, they can be really hard. What a lot of people, I'll give you one quick tip. Let's say you're trying to do a hop where you're going from one, you're going to keep it in bow, like you're going to keep it on the same side of you, but you're going to hop to the other side. Okay, so I'm here, I'm holding it out here, holding it with my right hand, catching with my right hand. Same with the left. If I'm holding it out here, holding it with my left hand, catching it with my left hand. What I've noticed is that for some people, their brain wants to focus on the part of the hoop that is closest to them as they throw the hoop back, okay? And so what happens is, it's like they're throwing the hoop back, their eyes are moving on it just long enough that they're missing the hoop that's coming here. And by the time they're not an experienced catcher, by the time they look over this way, they've missed the catch. So what I recommend is that you don't focus on this part at all. You will not hit your face unless you've been drinking. But you're going to hop over. I'm not focusing here. What I'm focusing on is this part of the hoop, that far part of the hoop becoming the nearer part of the hoop, right? And I'm seeing it into my hand. I'm not looking over there, right? Because when I look over here, as the hoop passes me, it's too late, okay? I talk as though this is life or death, but it's clearly not. All right, so I wanted to talk a little bit more about this soft hand idea because these things are related. Because once you develop this sort of trust in your hand that you can stop it. Actually, I just changed my mind. Before we get to there, let's go to some isolation flow right now. I don't know why. Every time I hear keyboards, I always think isolation. My advice is, if you don't feel like you're that good at isolations and you feel like you don't want to be that good, that's kind of how I feel. Still do them because they're really cool to do and they really offer a lot of different varieties in your movement. Like, right now, as I'm just doing this, super simple isolation around, I can pick which points of release I want to feel. Like if I want to keep my hands together here and just, feel more of a stretch or whenever. But the isolation is not so much an isolation, you're just sort of keeping round with the form. So for instance, I could come down here and I can stay, grip tight whenever I want the stretch. And then if I wanted to, I could just sort of release that into more of a grip and come back down, like hand walking around. What I'm getting at is that you can go from kind of stretch to stretch with a nice, gentle isolation hand walk. And you can do anything, but this is just fun. And then when I'm ready to stretch, I'm ready to get out of it. I'll start hand walking again, maybe. Then there's also just opening up the speed of the hands with your isolation. Just getting them nice and quick, and holding the hoop. Yeah, well, I like isolations. I never wanted to lock up too much to make them perfect. But I'm holding the hoop here, Let it roll onto the back of my hand and grip it here, thumb down, roll it here. All the way around. I just gotta apply upward pressure with my fingers down here. It's one way to do it, where they're just here. I'm gonna carry it around, and then I'm gonna try to get it on the back of my hand just as fast as I can. Try to move the offhand. See, this is where, like, your sloppiness of isolation, if you can move the offhand, is not as bad. Like, people don't realize. It's like, hey, look over here, I'm making funny shapes with my hand. Well, we've heard that. Okay. Okay, so then for our last exercise, do we have any time left? Yeah, okay, this will be our last one. Because I do want to, especially now that we've done isolations, I just want to open you up, for our final exercise, and we'll just play a song and then go into a free hoop and call it a night. But just, it's creating the roll that you can get out of Samurai. But when you start to create really rapid roll, right, you can get the hoop going really fast, quickly. So if I'm holding it here, well, if I'm going to try to do this side isolation is a fun one too. You never see anybody do this one anymore, but it's because it's impossible for me. I'm just not that flexible, but it's something like this, where I am, there we go, sort of. I'm only you're watching my side angle. And then there's currents to isolations too. And this is where I'll just be honest, I kind of suck at this part. But you can do cool isolations bouncing off of the top and bottom of the hand. This is sort of what I wanted to get into with this soft hand idea, is that I can roll, I'm holding the hoop on the outside here, and I can roll it down onto the back of my hand, carry it over, and then pick it up again. So I'm here, I'm gonna roll it and just carry it. And so my bottom hand, this hand is gonna roll up under it and point, boom. So I'm gripping it over the north arc and then releasing it through the southern arc. Or not releasing it, but coming up under it. It's in standing point, if that makes any sense to you. You know what that means? And then, of course, I can do these different currents. And I do recommend trying different currents, because sometimes you'll be like, ooh, okay, I found my second current first. Which doesn't make sense, but sometimes it can be the way it goes. And then if I wanted to do these from that same forward position like I was talking about before, I would roll the hoop up under so that it goes to the outside of my arm here as it swings out, and then carry the hoop on my hand. Oh, was that scraping noise? Nothing. I was hitting a cable, I didn't realize. All right, let's put some music on and try this. I'm not going to talk that much so you can get a sense of it on your own, but I am going to try to demo, try to stay on track for, in my mind, and try to demo some of the things you can do with it. That's funny. I just remembered that my eyes always cross when I'm doing isolations, and it just embarrassed the shit out of me. But I wasn't doing that just now. Okay. Okay, that's going to do it. We're going to do a free hoop to close the night out. I've already heard this song. For some reason, these are all repeating. I must have checked the box. I didn't want to check. Okay, so anyway, we're going to move into a free hoop now. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We will be back on Thursday, and I'm looking very forward to that. Let's see. Oh yeah, I like this one. But we'll free hoop from here.
Now hear this one. It's Black Crow alongside Dimension. From Oakland to Jamaica. We're taking it to the world. Watch it up. Hear me now. War for them. Watch it up. Hear me now.
Amber, that's awesome. We love you. Okay. Do you want to do one more? Let's do one more. Thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate it. I appreciate it. We'll be back Thursday. On Thursday. we'll have some kind of technique class, I think. For me. That's good. That's probably as good as in my name. I hear you. Working on it. Sweet Carla, thank you for joining me. We'll do we've already heard this one. I love this song. Okay, actually, forgive me, guys. My last song vanished on me. Here we go.
I'd meet you
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Jennifer. I'm glad you like the song, Jennifer. Thank you, Jackie, Claire, Carla, everyone who's joined in. We really appreciate it.